I guess
This one I remembered, but not all of. There's so many bits in this movie. Like, oh wow, like I forgot all the good reveals.
Yeah,
yes.
Like this movie, it, on the surface, it's like, oh, this is like some kind of weird reaction to Pulp Fiction.
Oh yeah, and
It's like it's a more cheery, maybe less grimy version of Pulp Fiction. And I was like, huh, this is the thing that they obviously, whoever saw this felt strongly enough about it to put the director in charge of the Bourne identity, which I thought, and I was watching it going, what did they see in this to make them think that he would be good for that movie?
He can direct action. There's a
well,
lot.
That was the thing. I started watching like actually like that car chase scene in the middle.
Yeah,
is
in
really
Vegas?
well executed.
Right. Oh,
like there's a lot
of shot running gun.
There's a lot of scenes in this movie where you go, he made a choice here that made this scene more interesting because of the way that he did it, and that kept happening over and over and over again as I'm watching it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, a lot of this is the script,
it's John August all over the place, man.
You just there's so many surprises and so many little moments where you're like, oh, that was clever, or that was clever, and like he gets pretty good performances out of just about everybody in it. But it ended up for me being better than the sum of its parts because there's so many little things along the way, whether it's the direction or just, again, the script finding ways to surprise you in what is basically kind of what I felt like a fairly conventional, at least by post-Pulp Fiction standards, fairly conventional.
Imagine if Pulp Fiction hadn't existed and this had come out, it would have blown your fucking
mind. Oh, yeah.
But I've seen, and you're right, because I've seen Pulp Fiction, maybe, like, okay, this is covered ground, but it rose above it because of the choices of the people that made the movie.
Well, it's a really good job of something that is, on the surface, kind of similar in style.
Okay, well, all we're talking about is the way that it's put together. It's three different interlocking storylines. Yeah,
not just the shifting.
I think wasn't there 4 in Pulp Fiction, but I can't remember.
Oh God, I don't know.
Either way, it's kind of like a style. It's like a genre. It's like a if you want to. It's like a Western or a film noir. He decided to do it in that style, take it out of order. This film started out as just the Rana story, as a short. And then they got the financing and they pulled that in the full feature thing. And I think that informs it later on, in fact. But if you look at this against Pulp Fiction, which is a great film, but it's also very violent and very kind of offensive in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
This one kind of like it's kind of lighter touch.
It's kind of sweet, honestly. Even the drug dealer, who's such an asshole at the beginning, ends up being kind of a nice guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I fucking will watch this guy in anything.
I know.
It's very watchable. No doubt about it.
I mean, this is like maybe the earliest I think I'd ever seen him in anything.
Right.
Yeah, he just got fired off a different movie. He got hired on for this by Liman. He's great in this. And the thing is, Jay Moore wanted to play forgot the name of he has a really weird ordinary name. Todd Gaines, thank you. You want to play him and says no, he's Oliphant just nailed it. He's weird. He's scary, but he's real person scary. He's not like Darth Vader scary. He's not like otherworldly.
What was that movie? I think it's called The Girl Next Door, where he plays, I guess, the pimp, right?
Right. Oh yeah,
yeah. Like he's really good at that character. I mean,
that weird menace. Yeah,
that was what he got. That was the thing he kind of got pigeonholed into with like the late '90s, early O's. Was one of those. But yeah, he's one of my favorite people to watch. And then behind Tad on the far side what's his name? William Fichtner.
William Fichtner.
Yeah.
Good in anything. And again, it's one of those reveals where like, oh, that's right. He's basically one of those guys caught in a Ponzi, like one of those pyramids.
The whole time you just think he's some kind of weird gay stalker or something.
Well, it's nice. He's set up so beautifully. Like he's either trying to sell them shit or get them to sell more of the like.
I can do push-ups on this mattress next to you. You would never feel it. And the guy's like, "What?"
No, and then I mean, Katie Holmes. Like, I remember when Katie Holmes was in things and she was good.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of
although
I smiled a lot watching this.
One thing I saw when I laughed a lot.
Yeah, I picked The Gift, Chris.
Yeah,
I know. I remember.
But I was watching this, and one thing about Katie Holmes and Sarah Polley in this film as buddies, and I think part of that makes it work is it's so different looking. Once it makes her look about 6'5". You know,
Right.
Katie Holmes, dark hair and green eyes, and that one's short and blonde and blue eyes, and the contrast kind of works with these two at all times. It's very odd. I can't put my finger on it exactly, but it was kind of neat watching.
I think you kind of have put your finger on something here. Is that the casting is really good in that there's a big cast, but everybody is so visually distinct that it's never. Sometimes in a Scorsese movie, I'm like, okay, which Italian guy is this now? You know, and it's like this. Everybody's really a very distinct character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And although Melissa McCarthy showing up in the third act.
what are you doing here? One thing in watching this again, and I noticed when as the Vegas sequence, I actually didn't enjoy that as much as when I first saw it. I think that Simon's character is fairly impossible. He's just this completely clueless a-hole from England. That guy, who is just like a loose cannon all the time and does stupid shit.
Who somehow manages to bag two girls at once.
Yeah.
No, but the payoff when he's got his arm up and
he does get shot at the end, which made me happy, but nonetheless.
you hear it off screen. He's like, I'm okay.
That was pretty funny.
But no, I thought that was the weakest of the segments because it just seemed like they kind of like
it was preposterous.
It was too preposterous.
This guy, a little of him, I thought went along.
Breckenmeyer.
That character was a little.
He has this weird kind of like smarmy quality. It's like
there's something appealing about it, though, isn't there?
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a fun movie. I mean,
it moves really fast.
That is true. The pacing is
never bored.
Never bored. You don't have time to think of what a puff piece it is, but it's just fun.
No, but like again, at one point I'm watching the car chase and I'm realizing that the cameraman has got the camera tilted at like a 30-degree angle, which I think makes it looks like the cars are going even faster.
Oh yeah.
Like they're just dumb, weird little things in there where I'm like, oh, that's why they picked him for Bourne Identity. Is shit like
that's right. So you kind of saw what was coming up in this kind of nascent.
Yeah, I'm like, how do you get from what did you do before this? Was it Swingers to go to Bourne Identity and then off to the races for a little while, and then he kind of went off in the wilderness, and I guess he's sort of back. But watching this, I kind of maybe understood why they might have picked him for that.
Yeah.
I really like the cops and the actors, that William Fichtner and Scott Wolf and Jay Moore. Revealing, I mean, pretty late in the story that Scott Wolf and Jay Moore are a couple. Kind of funny because Sarah Pauly says way at the beginning, it's like, gay guys are so hot. And I was like, oh.
Actually, that's near the end. And that's
okay. But it's in the movie, it's late, but in the time.
Yeah, in the movie, in the larger storyline, it's early. Yes.
It's Katie Holmes, not Sarah Pauly.
That's right, man.
Oh, you're right.
Exactly. It says tragic, but that's good stuff. One thing about this is that watching this is that there's no DP. It was Doug Liman directed and shot it.
Liman was DOP.
Yeah. And interesting because he made a fascinating choice. The segment actually has a slightly different look. The first one, the Rana one, is actually very much natural light and soft light and like stuff like black lights and just kind of in the environment. And then of course, the Vegas one is just wacky because it's Vegas, right? But it's a lot of that's hard light and a lot of like stuff from the top and the center. It's hard to describe, but the stuff with Fincher and the two guys, it looked fake. There was lots of rim lighting. There was lots of like 3-point lighting in there. It always looked like they're on a soundstage somewhere. He made that deliberate choice in that segment to make it look a little bit too much like Hollywood.
A movie,
yeah. It's very odd. Okay.
I haven't heard much from
Okay,
Bob. You brought it to a screeching halt.
Okay, Bob. Okay, Bobsy Twins, take us away.
Go ahead, Jim.
I enjoyed it. It moved along. It was fun. I thought it actually, the way it handled the different storylines was less like Pulp Fiction and more like, I don't know, Rashomon or something. They were pretty straightforward. It wasn't confusing.
Okay.
And Tad, you own this movie.
It's legitimately one of my favorite movies.
Oh, great.
Like, I I adore. Well, let's start at the top.
Mhm.
I was one of these people.
I'm sure you were.
Like,
Is it your generation or close
yeah,
to it?
I was 16 years old when this movie came out, and I was a person who was going to raves and doing all the drugs and all of that stuff when this movie came out. And it spoke to me so much then, and it speaks to me now to this day. Like, I don't do that stuff anymore, but like there's so many moments in this movie that I identify with, and like some of the best reaction shots I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like the moment where Scott Wolf is sitting at the dinner table and it's like, oh, he's not feeling good. And he's like,
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling good. In fact, it turns out
I gotta go. That's
the
good.
moment where Sarah Polly gets hit by the car and Timothy Oliphant's there with the gun. And it's just like,
that is amazing, that scene.
what? I don't.
What?
You
What
got.
do I do now?
You've got
You can
three.
see he's thinking about it. Like, do I keep going or shit? What do I do?
Right. Do I
it's
just
like
fucking
that.
shoot these guys or do I leave?
Well, three
Like,
storylines collide in that one scene.
Yeah.
It's literally
it's
collide.
so fucking good.
Yeah.
The look on his face where he's like looking around, like, am I being punked right now?
Right. Yes.
And
Exactly.
it's so fun as a viewer to see Wolf and Jay Moore get into the car, and that's like, oh, that's the car. And so
Right.
you know it's coming. And
exactly.
like, wait, now you're just waiting.
No, and the scream that they have when they hit her, when they're just like,
that's super. I can't do high pitch like that, but it's super high pitch. That was great.
Also,
my sister had.
I'm sure you love the music in this movie.
oh
great.
my god!
Oh, dude! Oh, I want to say that I bought the soundtrack to this film and put it in its CD into my dashboard for 2 months. That's all I listened to. Was
so much
this
massive.
is the last soundtrack I loved.
BT
Yeah.
BT is one of my all-time favorite artists.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he does all the interstitial music.
Wow.
But then you have things like Massive Attack. And
Len and
Steal My Sunshine. Like,
surprised. A perfect place, right? The placement of that song is perfect too.
It made me realize it's like this is about like pop music was around this time.
Yeah.
This is when pop music was good. This is
the last gasp of great pop music. Exactly.
Like,
it was good.
No,
amazing soundtrack.
I adore this movie, and like, I used to do all these drugs too, and it's just like,
that's funny.
Also, for a movie about drug dealers and crime and all this shit, it's pretty lighthearted and pretty innocent. I mean, it's like she was selling 20 hits of ecstasy. It's like it wasn't about heroin.
But that's where simple possession turns into trafficking.
That's exactly right.
That's such a good. The part where he turns the music up, and he's like, lift up your shirt, turn around,
and then she starts doing it at the rave.
Yes, I have been in that room. Like, I have been in that room where somebody is like, I'm going to turn the audio up and you need to pull your shirt up and turn around. Like,
right. I believe it. Oh, I realize now that you're exactly Sarah Polly and the main characters that work in the grocery store. You're their age. You're the exact same age. Yeah. So that was
this movie. This movie also made me miss all these actors.
No, yeah.
Few of them we don't see much of anymore.
No, I mean, I love Jay Moore. I always liked Jay Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Moore's kind of a piece of shit.
I guess I've heard that since, and I met him once in Park City, and he was just it was like one of my first celebrity.
He's a really nice guy, and then it turns out that he's also an asshole.
Too bad.
Yeah,
milkshake duck again.
And Katie Holmes tried to have a real acting career after Party.
Looking for my DVD of Action. Who watched?
Oh
yeah.
How many times have I mentioned Action in our fucking chat?
A lot.
Like,
a lot.
That's a good show.
Yeah.
That's the you know why it got canned. Everyone knows why it got canned.
No, I don't actually.
Oh, because it's about the Weinsteins.
Oh,
and Joel Silver and all those. Yeah.
Well, this one is like, I know that Lyman did not want to bring in Scott Wolf because he got two people.
Because he already had
and
Katie
he already
Holmes.
had Katie Holmes, who was on a different show.
But Scott Wolf is fucking amazing in this movie.
Really good in this.
Again,
I'm like,
the reaction shot at dinner.
What's he doing?
I think he's living off of his fucking Fox money. I think he's just
One Tree Hill money. They still show that thing, right?
Yeah. I think he's just
and Party of Five.
And Party of Five. I was thinking Party of Five, but yeah, there it is. But either way, it's
and I love Bill Fichtner in anything.
Yes,
Do you
from
you
Heat
put
on
Bill
up,
Fichtner
man.
in a movie? For me, I am in.
He hasn't made anything bad.
No,
He always elevates every little scene.
He's also good as a sympathetic character too.
Did anybody watch the TV series Mom that was on for good?
Sandy has seen every episode, and I've watched about half of them.
He is so great in it, and the thing about it is, it's clearly a sitcom. It's a Chuck Lorre sitcom,
Chuck
right?
Lorre, yeah.
Laugh track, but he doesn't play it like he's in a comedy. He's just bewildered, and he's just that guy. He's William Fichtner, and he's so great.
Yeah.
Just think about him in Heat, like the parts in Heat where he's got what's his name from Black Flag as his bodyguard, and
Rollins.
yeah, and De Niro's on the phone. And he's like, you know who I'm talking to? I'm talking to an empty phone.
Yeah,
and Fichtner just has that response where he's just like. Oh God!
Good stuff.
I adore this movie so much.
Yeah.
Like it is beautiful and wonderful to me.
I did not expect to watch this and feel nostalgic, but you can't help it.
Yeah.
Before it was before cell phones, before they
no, there are cell phones in this movie.
There's a few, but
the cell phones are
the ones you have to talk to it.
Barely.
Yeah, but people used to talk to their cell phones. There's no texting. There's nothing like kind of that thing. It's like also the funky old cars. That was a 73 Riviera he trashed there. That was no 63 Riviera. It's like amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a Miata. My sister had a Miata just like that, and they're tiny.
It's a Miata.
Exactly.
Car.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is great. It was fun to watch.
I was happy to watch it again.
I hate it and love it.
I watched it and then watched it again the next night because I didn't want to watch it. So twice.
There you go.
Jim, do you have a corner at all?
Oh,
I love it when he does that. That's gonna be a thing from now on. Approach the camera and speak.
Yeah, I liked it. What can I say? I don't think I like it as much as Tad does, but it was and I watched
but you weren't 16 at the time.
Back to back, basically.
You watched both movies back to back?
Today.
Oh, today.
Wow. So did I.
Hour to decompress before we came on the air.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot to take in.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And I agree that all the actors are really quite good, and the characters are quite good too.
Yeah.
That's August, man. He's a sharp writer.
The gay couple, I couldn't differentiate between them for a while, and then they started to.
I love the moment where Katie Holmes is just like, "Oh, gay men are so hot."
Yeah,
like it's so. That's such a funny line.
It's funny. They are. Scott Wolf and Jay Moore are very different characters in a lot of ways, and it takes a while to kind of like Jim. It takes a while to kind of separate them out a little bit. And one is more timid and one's more bold, and one is more decisive and one isn't. And
the part where Jay Moore is like, "We're doing a scene." Like, like you say hi to Molly and Wardrobe.
Molly,
they're making the veggie burgers you like.
help me drag the body and
you smell the veggie burgers.
Pick up the legs. Can you smell the veggie burgers?
Well, the thing is that Scott Wolf, he snaps out of it very quickly. Where it's like at first he's like, okay, and then all of a sudden, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, right.
That's not what's happening right now.
And then Jay Moore is immediately like, "Yeah, will help me anyway."
Yeah,
like
exactly. That's good stuff.
He gave it a go.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Got it.
Man.
Yeah, what?
I love this movie.
No, that's great. I didn't realize I feel like I didn't think about how old you were versus this film. I was affected by it because I thought it was just one of the best films that came out that year. And
which is maybe the last greatest year of American cinema.
Which is why we're doing 1999 this week.
The list of amazing movies that came out that year is very long.
Yes, it is. All right.
Hey, wait a couple of minutes, Chris.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, goody.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I guess we can go to cards if you're ever.
Fucking great.
All right.
Great. Love it.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 thumbs. Okay, good. All right.
You got it, Scott. Very good week.
Thank you very much.
Very good week.
I know.
The first part.